a highball at nightfall. Be good fellows while you may, for tomorrow may bring sorrow. So tonight let's all be gay. Tell the story of glory, of Pennsylvania. Drink a highball and be jolly. Here's a toast to dear old Penn. Cheer, Pennsylvania, cheer evermore. We're here to see the red and blue score and score. And when we give a resounding hoorah, hoorah, ever loyal to old Pennsylvania. Hail, alma mater, thy sons cheer thee now. To thee, Pennsylvania, all rivals must bow, victorious forever. Thy colors here will be forever, forever. They'll wave in victory. Sea to sea, where'er thy loyal son shall stand, they'll e'er be true to thee. The sight of thy majestic halls with ivy overgrown, the fondest memory recalls that we have ever known. Old Pennsylvania, dear Pennsylvania, will e'er be true to red and blue of Pennsylvania. Red and blue of men of Pennsylvania, let your voices ring. Men of Pennsylvania, open up your hearts and sing a song of Pennsylvania. Cheer the red and blue. Men of Pennsylvania, fight, fight, fight for Pennsylvania. Hang Jeff Davis on a sour apple tree. Down went McGinty to the bottom of the sea. She's my Annie, and I'm her Joe. Oh, listen to my tale of woe. Any I say, lady? No. Giddy up. Pennsylvania. 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 Oh, Pennsylvania. Fight on, Pennsylvania. Put the ball across the line. Fight, you Pennsylvanians. There it goes across this time. Red and blue, we're with you, and we're cheering for your men. So it's fight, 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 Pennsylvania. Fight on, fight on, fight for, fight on, Pennsylvania. Fight for Penn, fight!
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 83rd Annual Alumni Award of Merit Gala. I'm Julie Barron-Platt, President of Penn Alumni, and I'm thrilled to be part of this wonderful celebration. Tonight, we honor individuals who represent the very best of Penn and exhibit traits we hope to foster in today's students: intelligence, creativity, a sense of purpose, and of course, Penn pride. There is a Hebrew phrase that will be familiar to some of you, but its meaning should resonate with all: Lador Vador. It means from generation to generation. What better time than homecoming weekend to celebrate the timeless traditions and values we pass on to future generations. And that is all the more important in a world that seems to change by the second. After all, this is the year of innovation at Penn. I can still remember the amazing technological innovation of my graduation year in 1979, the Sony Walkman. How life changed when you could listen to your favorite cassettes as you strolled down Locust Walk. The Walkman has long since been replaced by iPods and smartphones, but this weekend, music will escape headphones and resonate across campus with a program honoring Lou Reed at the Annenberg Center, a performance by the Daedalus Quartet, and the annual Blatt Band Slam. The McDonald's Happy Meal was also introduced in 1979. But don't worry, we have much better fare for you at the Taste of Penn Spectrum tomorrow night. Of course, we're all rooting for Penn to beat Princeton tomorrow. But beyond the big game, there's the gallery hop, open houses and receptions across campus, tours of Penn's architectural and sculptural masterpieces, and so much more for you to enjoy during our fantastic homecoming weekend. Most of all, I hope that as you enjoy the weekend, you also will reflect and revel in a history that we are all part of, one that is continuously unfolding. Penn embodies timeless values, but is always looking forward, always looking for ways to make the best university in the world even better for generations to come. And we have a great leader to make that happen. Please, everyone, join me in a warm welcome for Dr. Amy Gutmann.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you so much, and welcome, everyone. I really want us all, on behalf of us all, to thank Julie Platt for this will be her 5th year leading Penn alumni worldwide. So let's give it up for Julie Platt. So this, by tradition, is the night we paint the town red and blue. And yeah, tonight we celebrate our 83rd annual Alumni Award of Merit Gala. We honor talent, dedication, and above all, great passion for dear old Penn. To borrow a line from John F. Kennedy, tonight on this stage we have the greatest assemblage of Penn talent brought together in one place since Ben Franklin dined alone. So, yes. The honorees seated before you have distinguished themselves in fields ranging from finance to acting to community development and beyond. Their contributions to Penn have been no less wide-ranging. They are here to receive our thanks, our accolades, and our heartfelt imagination and admiration. If any of them appears nervous to you, it is not without cause. There's been a rumor going around that in lieu of acceptance speeches tonight, they're going to be asked to do job interviews with Murphy Brown. I think she's ready. She's ready. But I will state categorically that our honorees' reputations for achievement precede them. No job interviews tonight. Let me just say a few brief words about each. Our first awardee is an exemplary alumni leader, a graduate of Penn Law and a trustee leader. His legacy transcends all our schools. He has worked tirelessly to advance diversity at Penn and to make our community more welcoming and supportive of people from all different backgrounds. He helped revitalize the James Brister Society and has promoted inclusion through his work with countless university groups. Penn is more welcoming to all. Thanks to you, let us all give a big round of applause for Gil Casillas. Our next alumnus knows Penn chapter and verse. Name a graduating class, and he will tell you some interesting fact or unique insight about the people of that class. Known best to his fellow Quakers as the witty MC of the Alumni Weekend Parade of Classes, the man without whose voice the parade just wouldn't be the same, his contributions actually extend far beyond. He has served as the longtime president of the class of 1990, a valued leader in alumni causes, and I'm told the unofficial mayor of the Penn community in Los Angeles. We're talking about Kyle Kozlov. For more than 40 years, our next winner has gone above and beyond for Penn. I'm pleased to say he was one of the first people I got to know when I came to Penn, and I was very lucky for it. He has served as a leader on our board of trustees. He has exemplified leadership in engineering and at Penn's IUR, our Institute of Urban Research. His extensive knowledge of real estate and community development helped shape the IUR, which is now recognized as a model Penn Institute. We salute you for your service, Egbert Perry. Our next honoree is so well known for her spirited enthusiasm that one fellow alumni declared, "She is downright Pennergenic." With time, this honoree's commitment to Penn seems only to grow. She is known for her thoughtful leadership of the class of 1949, her knack for planning memorable reunions, and her tireless energy in service for the red and the blue. You are a true Penn treasure, Alice Way Waddington. Woo. From her student days in Kyton Key to her dedicated service as an alumni volunteer, our next winner has proudly worn her Penn pride for more than 3 decades. Thanks to her inspiring leadership and impressive fundraising skills, the class of 1986 has won the Class Award of Merit not just once, but twice. Little pride there, we love it. This may be in part due to the wonderfully named class electronic newsletter that she produces. In the mix with 86. At home and abroad, she has used her unmatched communication skills to keep her fellow alumni connected to Penn and to each other. You are a model Penn volunteer. Sue Dreyer-Wishnow. We also recognize tonight the winner of this year's Creative Spirit Award. Perhaps I should say Creative Spirit Awards for her many talents, which make her so eminently deserving of this honor. She has been a photojournalist, a writer, a model, and an award-winning actress. To her many fans, she will always be the feisty Murphy Brown, the memorable role for which she won not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 Emmys and 2 Golden Globes. You are a true Penn star, Candice Bergen. We also salute the young Alumni Award winners whose dedicated efforts assure us that Penn's future is in the very best hands. Louis Hornick III and Rohit Singh, congratulations and thank you. We celebrate the great classes of 1967 and 1972 for their incredible accomplishments. And we thank the Penn Club of Seattle for showing us how to keep Quakers closely connected to the university, even from nearly 3,000 miles away. Thank you all for everything you do for Penn, and congratulations once again to our 2017 Alumni Award of Merit winners. Let's give them all another big round of applause. Now it's my great honor to introduce our next speaker, who is a shining star among Penn alumni leaders. He's a proud graduate of Penn Law and the most inclusive and insightful, engaged and engaging chair of any university board of trustees anywhere. Please join me in welcoming the incomparable David L. Cohn.
Thanks very much, Amy, and good evening, everyone. I want to join Amy and Julie in wishing everyone a happy homecoming weekend. Beautiful, maybe a little warmer than I was expecting, but it's going to be a gorgeous weekend. Each year on this weekend, I'm reminded that our university has no greater asset than its incredibly talented alumni. And tonight, we have the great pleasure to honor some of Penn's finest. As this group demonstrates, there is no one way to be of service to Penn. In their professional careers and their work on behalf of their alma mater, each of tonight's honorees has chosen his or her own unique path, but each shares two common traits. The first is an unwavering commitment to Penn, and the second is a unique ability to strengthen the bonds among their fellow alumni and between alumni and the university. As trustee chair, I want to take a point of personal privilege and the risk of singling out two of tonight's honorees, my good friends and fellow trustees, Gil Casillas and Egbert Perry. Both Gil and Egbert have generously lent their talents and time as Penn trustees for many years. Their extraordinary commitment, skillful leadership, and thoughtful perspectives have rightly earned them both the deepest respect of their peers on the board, as well as the select designation of charter trustee. Both have been great colleagues, friends, and advisors to me, and tonight they are both honored with the highest award that we can present to our alumni. So special congratulations to Gil and to Egbert. By the way, Amy referenced Gil's commitment to diversity and inclusion at this university. When Egbert, Gil, and I were talking before, I don't know that I remember a time when we had two trustees being honored in one Alumni Award of Merit celebration, and I certainly don't remember a time when we had two diverse trustees being honored with the Alumni Award of Merit. So on behalf of the trustees, I'm delighted to congratulate each of this year's Alumni Award of Merit winners and thank them for their remarkable dedication and service to Penn. And while we celebrate everyone on this stage, I want to also say to all the alumni, parents, and friends here tonight, thank you for your efforts on Penn's behalf. You are our ambassadors to the world, and our university is stronger because of you. I could not be prouder of our university's progress under Amy's leadership, and I'm grateful that we have alumni such as you to help us move forward. And so speaking of moving forward, I'm delighted to turn the podium back to Julie. Have a good night.
Thank you, David, and thank you, Amy. And now the great moment has arrived, the presentation of the Alumni Awards of Merit for 2017. To present the Class Awards of Merit, I'd like to present the President of the Alumni Class Leadership Council, who is also the Executive Vice President and Reunion Chair of the Class of 75. Ladies and gentlemen, Greg Suss.
Thank you, Julie. President Gutmann, Chairman Cohn, honorees, and fellow Quakers. Alumni class leadership, the cynosure of alumni engagement, is proud to recognize excellence in five-year reunion planning, execution, and outreach. The 2017 cycle was outstanding on every level, and I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Lauren Hedvet and Brian Katz, our award chairs, for shepherding us through this award process. Now I see Howard and Alice are here, and I'd like to also and Jeffrey here as well. Terrific. On behalf of the Alumni Leadership Council, I am honored to present the 2017 Class Award of Merit to the 50th reunion of the class of 1967. Your slogan for your reunion, 67 Soars, was a fitting motto describing the energetic engagement of a class that since your undergraduate days has never stopped aiming higher. As a rallying cry, 67 Soars captured both your class's optimistic spirit and your lofty reunion goals. Your attendance of 479 classmates and guests marks the largest of any 50th Penn reunion ever. You set records for the most yearbook submissions, number of donors, the most new additions to endowed scholarships and new Harrison Society members, and to top it off, your class donated an astonishing $61.6 million across the university. That's more than double the previous record, establishing a template of excellence that other classes can emulate for years to come. From the opening reception Friday evening at Levin Hall to the Sunday's closing champagne brunch and memorial service, each event was flawless, filled with spirit and camaraderie that marks your class. I have the great pleasure of visiting all the alumni affairs throughout the weekend, and when I walked into their Saturday evening affair at the Union League and saw all the dancing, the singing, the music, the drinking, the kibitzing, I thought I was at some sort of Alta bar mitzvah. It was glorious. You continually set new standards for leadership, community, and generosity, and while all creating a soaring example for generations of Penn classes at the same time. With appreciation for your high-flying achievements, Penn Alumni is delighted to present the class of 1967 with the 2017 Class Award of Merit.
Thank you, Greg. Do I have, 20 minutes? Good. 67 Soars. Its ascent is ceaseless. Thank you, Greg. We are thrilled and honored to receive this award. We didn't even feel a drop of rain on May 13th, not one. I must quickly thank my friend, colleague, class vice president, and irrepressible reunion co-chair and outreach guru, Alice Murdoch-Daggett. Gift chairs, Karen Bress-Rose and Keith Sachs, Larry Litwin, Administrative VP, and Paul Williams, my friend and constant advisor. And of course, Alumni Relations Liaison, Lizbeth Willis, and Penn Fund Liaison, Josh Ney, our invaluable team members. And lest I forget, my very patient, my very tolerant, and my very loving wife, Liz. All 67ers in the audience and behind me, please stand. Thank you for being here tonight. Would you all stand? Okay. I got a little resistance on that, but I'm moving on. As my 40 seconds tick down, thank you, Penn. Thank you very, very much for giving us something really to cherish. We came back and we gave back. That was our mission. Our way was clear. Our 55th is just around the corner. I step away, Alice. You have 20 seconds.
I think he's taken 19 of my 20. But seriously, it would never have all been possible without our fearless, inspired, and inspiring leader, Howdy Friedlander. Plus, I too want to praise those that he has mentioned, Keith, Karen, Larry, Paul, and Lisbeth and Josh. In addition to them, I want to add Diane Antonelli-Herr and Al Turkis, who labored tirelessly to produce our spectacular yearbook. It is a true treasure for each of us. And the more than 100 enthusiastic reunion committee members. Bravo! Since my role was often that of a cheerleader, Let us finish with 67 Soars. I can't get it. Where'd it go? There it is. That's yours.
We had to bring hats.
67 Soars.
And while we're soaring, communication is the key to engagement, and it is my pleasure to present the 2017 David N. Tyer Communications Award to the 45th reunion of the class of 1972. The class of 1972 has always bucked convention, shaped by the social and political revolutions of the psychedelic era. Your members are defined by your individuality. For some years, their leadership was challenged to galvanize their class's efforts. What was going on then? Oh, as my grandmother would say, Gornish mit Gornished. Nothing. Then along came Jeff and his merry band, and as one classmate remarked, he led the herd and herded the cats. And they did so with a highly personal communication strategy called 45 for 45. Now get this, everybody. Every month for more than 4 years, their class was treated to one in a series of 45 for 45 emails, 45 reflections for the 45th reunion. Each contained a personal story and an essay written by a classmate, reminiscing about a Penn experience that affected the author's life. The results were extremely impressive. You set record-breaking attendance for Penn's 45th reunion. You gave generously with the help of 408 classmates, and you exceeded both your reunion fund and scholarship fundraising goals. And on a logistics level, right before their reunion, the venue that they were having their party in suffered a huge fire and burned down. So at the last minute, they had to find a new location, and with the help of our crackerjack A&R staff, they relocated the event, and it went off without a hitch. Who said herding cats couldn't be done? Like a phoenix rising, their creativity, tenacity, and grit fostered a record-breaking reunion. For your dedication in reinforcing camaraderie among your fellow travelers, and for the long, winding trip it's been, Penn Alumni is pleased to present the 2017 David N. Tyer Award for Excellence in Class Communications to the 45th reunion of the class of 1972.
How do you start a flood? I mean, we started the fire so we could have a better class party at a better venue. Anyway, on behalf of the class of 1972, I'm proud to accept the Communications Award. I'd like to extend my thanks to Brian Keefe, who is a member of the 1972 Advisory Committee, who actually conceived the 45 for 45 memoir series. I was pretty much just the person who executed it. I'd like to thank the remaining members of the Advisory Committee who stood behind me through what were very difficult times in the beginning. I'd also like to thank the dynamic duo of Jeanine McAdams and Lisbeth Willis, who pretty much saw all my projects through to the end, never complained, often smiled, and probably talked a lot behind my back. In any event, during the 5 years since I became president of the class, I really took a disinterested bunch of grumpy Penn alums into a really, really raucous group who wanted to become part of Penn history. I really worked really, really hard, that's too many reallys, for 5 years. It was worth it. Thank you.
To present the Alumni Club Award of Merit, here's Belinda Butcher, class of 92, and current chair of the Regional Clubs Advisory Board.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Julie. Got my notes here. Sorry, this is new for me. The 2017 Alumni Club Award of Merit goes to the Penn Club of Seattle. Will the co-presidents Jim Chen and Lauren Olson please come to the podium? Living on the West Coast, means a Quaker has to go the extra mile to stay connected with Penn, more than 2,500 miles to be a bit more exact. But thanks to you, Penn Club of Seattle, the distance between campus and the Emerald City becomes a little smaller year after year. You are an important touch point for more than 3,800 Penn alumni in Washington State, and the industrious spirit you have shown in meeting this responsibility would make Ben Franklin proud. You use social media and good old-fashioned word of mouth to reach out to alumni about events, volunteer opportunities, and class and reunion news. Finding creative ways to engage the alumni community is no small task. So how do you make it look so easy? With more than 10 of your board members organizing and leading events over the past year, you are fostering the sort of personal investment that builds a stronger community. Although the city is known for its rainy weather, the future is bright for the Penn Club of Seattle. We are looking forward to seeing you rise, just like the Space Needle that is so iconic to the Seattle skyline. In appreciation for keeping Penn Pride alive and in anticipation of your future growth, Penn Alumni is delighted to present you with the Alumni Club Award of Merit for 2017.
Thank you, Belinda, for those kind introductions. And good evening, everyone. It's good to be back on campus. Perfect timing because it's snowing back in Seattle. So first of all, thank you to the university, Penn Alumni, and the Regional Clubs Advisory Board for awarding the Penn Club of Seattle with the Alumni Club Award of Merit. It is humbling to share the stage with so many exceptional honorees this evening and to join the ranks of outstanding Alumni Club winners before us. It is with deep gratitude that we receive this on behalf of the club back home in Seattle. We could not be more grateful to the advisory board for recognizing our club's hard work and dedication in bringing together our local Penn community. We would like to say a very, very special thank you to Belinda Butcher, without whom the club would not be where it is today. She has been instrumental in breathing life back into Seattle over the last 5 years, and her commitment to the university inspires us all daily.
It is truly a team effort in Seattle, and we would also like to recognize our fellow board members, Haley Shapley, Nate Close, Julie Weed, Kevin Lee, David Blum, Bill Winkleman, Pamela Jacobson, and Matt Vogel. Our success would not be possible without each of them. We would also like to thank Laura Foltman, Tara Davies, and the entire Alumni Relations team for all of your support and guidance. We may be almost 3,000 miles away, but you have always been there to answer our questions and encourage our efforts. Jim and I both got involved with the Alumni Club because our years at Penn were some of our most memorable and life-changing. Graduating was not the conclusion of our relationship with the university, but rather just the beginning of a lifelong journey. The university has given us so much, and it is truly our privilege to give back. Thank you again on behalf of the Penn Club of Seattle.
And now for the presentation of the Creative Spirit Award, which began when arts and culture programming was added to Homecoming Weekend in 2009. The award recognizes a member of the Penn community who has illustrated a lifelong commitment to the arts through outstanding personal achievement and/or philanthropic support. I'd like to invite Andrea Mitchell and Candace Bergen to the podium for the presentation of this year's award.
Ma'am? Well, true confessions, I always wanted to be Murphy Brown.
And you are.
I wish I were. Outspoken, a pit bull of an investigative journalist and news anchor, no nonsense, funny, sarcastic, brutally honest, honest to a fault. In fact, someone once called her Mike Wallace in a dress. My classmate Candace Bergen had already broken ground as the first woman to host Saturday Night Live and become a member of the Five Timers Club before she even became Murphy Brown. In her varied career, she has won praise as a freelance photographer for her work as an Academy Award-nominated actor in Starting Over, as well as her earlier performance in Carnal Knowledge. Winner of 2 Golden Globes and a record 5 Emmys for Murphy Brown, as President Gutmann said, in addition to acclaimed performances on stage, Bergen is also a best-selling author for her beautifully written memoir, Knockwood, in 1984, and more recently, A Fine Romance in 2015. But for all of her work in print and on stage and on screen, it is her role as Murphy Brown that had Bergen rocking the 1992 presidential campaign, when vice presidential nominee Dan Quayle took on Murphy Brown for supposedly undermining traditional family values by having a child out of wedlock. As the first vice presidential candidate in history to attack a fictional television character, Quayle said, "It doesn't help matters when primetime TV has Murphy Brown, a character who supposedly epitomizes today's intelligent, highly professional woman, mocking the importance of fathers by bearing a child alone," quite a feat, and calling it just another lifestyle choice. Bergen's character finally responded in an iconic episode in the fall of 1992, exclaiming, "I am glamorizing single motherhood? What planet is he on?" I agonized over that decision, telling viewers, in the role of Murphy Brown, of course, perhaps it's time for the vice president to expand his definition and recognize that whether by choice or circumstance, families come in all shapes and sizes. And ultimately, what defines family is caring and love. It is a message that still resonates today in our politics. When she's not being dragged into the culture wars of American politics, Candace Bergen is a notable supporter of the arts and education. Her significant philanthropy includes her support for scholarships here at Penn. Indeed, Bergen's candor and intellect make her a role model for an entire generation of women and men. As our commencement speaker in 1992, she has remained connected to our university over the decades. For all of those reasons and for many more, it is my personal honor and privilege to present the Creative Spirit Award to Candace Bergen.
I'm so honored to have been presented this by Andrea, who tore herself away from giving us all the news. And I'm very honored that Penn has done this. About 45 minutes ago, it was yet another Penn-Princeton game. I was homecoming queen. Kennedy was president. While I was a California kid, I knew the drill. I had a shiny pair of Weejuns. I wore my knee socks. I wore pleated plaid skirts and my crew neck. I drew the line at the circle pin. Acclaimed photographer and lifelong friend Mary Ellen Mark took me to the Annenberg lab and taught me how to print. I did theater under Susan Quinn. I hung out at the architecture school where the dean was Louis Kahn. I discovered the Flemish great masters taught by Dr. Malcolm Campbell and the organizational principles of society, Gemeinschaft, Gesellschaft, by Dr. Digby Baltzell. I flunked opera, which they said couldn't be done. Penn was, even in those days, a feast, but nothing compared to the groaning board of choices that are offered now. It was dizzying. It was so dizzying, in fact, that toward the end of my sophomore year, the Dean of Women called me into her office and said, "Well, you've barely made a dent in your required courses and you failed to declare a major, so we would like to wish you success and happiness in another field." At which point I respected Penn even more. 50 years, class of '67, in the blink of an eye. Count your blessings. This is an honor. Thank you very much.
Before continuing the presentation of the 83rd Alumni Awards of Merit, I would like everyone in the audience who has been given an Alumni Award of Merit or Young Alumni Award in the past to please stand up. Included in this prestigious group of alumni are Keith and Kathy Sachs, who were planning to attend this evening to celebrate with their class and the other honorees but could not be here. Please give a round of applause to some of Penn's leading volunteers. Each year, Penn Alumni solicits nominations for the Alumni Award of Merit and the Young Alumni Award through a formal request that appears in the Pennsylvania Gazette and in the electronic newsletter, The Red and Blue Online. I enjoy being on the Penn Alumni Awards and Resolutions Committee, which chooses from among many impressive candidates to select those who deserve recognition in perpetuity for extraordinary and longstanding service to Penn. The committee also selects the Student Awards of Merit, which are presented in May on Ivy Day, and we have some past winners in attendance, as well as some Senior Honor Awards winners with us this evening. Congratulations to all of our 2017 honorees, and thank you for your exceptional efforts on behalf of the university. We are proud to present each of you with a citation and an honorary rosette to be worn proudly, having been inducted into this prestigious group of Penn alumni. Now for the presentation of the Young Alumni Awards for 2017. Brett Weimheimer and Trip Hornick, please come to the podium.
Trip, I imagine that growing up in a family where 10 members are Penn alumni can be both a blessing and a curse. But you've managed to distinguish yourself with the endless energy and time you dedicate to the University of Pennsylvania. Over the years, you've held a variety of positions at Penn. As a class officer, gift committee member, alumni interviewer, Penn Alumni Board and Council member, Alumni Class Leadership Council member, and key figure in the Graduate Club of Mask and Wig, your presence is a fixture at events both in Philadelphia and New York. One of the greatest rewards of staying involved at Penn is knowing that you have friends across the generations of classes, that at any time you can come on campus or attend an event, you can find a friendly face to make you feel at home. Trip, for so many, you are the person whose face makes others feel welcome and at home here. Your charisma and smile have been the welcome sight for so many of us over the years. You set the example for anyone who wants to know the personal satisfaction and joy that are the result of serving Penn and truly being one of its most loyal and dedicated alumni. I can't remember the first time I met Trip, but I do recall his favorite lines. What can I do? What do you need? When Penn and its alumni are involved, he is always one of the first people to commit his time and volunteer. And the fact that he always does it with such enthusiasm is what endears him to so many of us. Trip, you recognize the value of connecting past, present, and future, and remain firmly committed to working together with your fellow Quakers to ensure that our own sacred institution will continue to flourish. For your unique ability to bridge generations of Penn alumni and your tireless commitment to keeping Mask and Wig as vibrant and fresh as it has been since 1889, Penn Alumni is pleased to present you with the 2017 Young Alumni Award of Merit. Congratulations.
Brett, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to work with you, and you are a great role model for dedication to Penn. And Penn is family. When I had the incredible honor of presenting the 2005 Alumni Award of Merit to my mother, I made the joke that I bribed a lot of people to receive the 2002 Student Award of Merit. It's okay, you can laugh at that. This time I can assure you there was no bribing, so I'm a tad perplexed as to how I ended up on this stage with so many remarkable people. Penn is family. Now, I say this not just because my parents are here. I say this because, as in a family, we all support each other. We were there for each other as undergraduates, and we're there for each other now through the joys, triumphs, toil, tears, and sweat of this marvelous journey called life. I will always be there when a member of my Penn family needs help. and I know you will too. Now, no matter how much I give back to Penn, I will never be able to match what I have received, but thankfully this is a family we do not track debts. I ask you, my family, to help me make Penn proud over my next 50 years. Hurrah, hurrah.
Will the Vice President and Director of Libraries, Carton Rogers, and Rohit Singh please come to the podium?
Good evening. I'm honored to be here with you tonight and to be able to introduce Rohit Singh, one of this year's recipients of the Young Alumni Award. I've been Director of Libraries here at Penn for the past 14 years, and during that time I've been privileged to work with many wonderful Penn alums who share a number of common traits, including a love of this great institution, an appreciation for the importance of their Penn experience in their life's journey, and a desire and willingness to give back when and wherever possible. Rohit Singh is the embodiment of those traits. His volunteer involvements include serving on the advisory board of the Huntsman Program for International Studies in Business, having graduated from the inaugural class, as an interviewer with the Penn Alumni Interview Program, and serving as a member of the Ori Society Council and the Penn Library's Board of Overseers, which is how I became acquainted with Rohit. Rohit has been an extraordinary library volunteer through his service on the Ori Society, which is our chief fundraising vehicle for information. Having assumed the role of co-chair in 2015, Rohit has played a key role in rebranding the Ori Society and restructuring the council to keep members engaged and energized. I love working with Rohit because although he has high expectations of his fellow council members and of the library staff, and of me, he holds himself to those very same high standards, which I believe is the real measure of person, whether they are in private or public life. Rohit puts his words into action, and he's constantly thinking about how the Ori Society can raise the bar for the Penn Libraries. He's a team player as well as a visionary leader. He is not shy about sharing his thoughts about how things might be improved, which has been crucial to the ever-increasing success of the Society. During his tenure, the library has raised over $4 million in endowed and term gifts for acquisitions, digitization, and conservation. Finally, putting word to action, or action to word, Rohit and his wife, Vandita, have established the Singh Family Fund for South Asian Studies, which supports the acquisitions of research materials, particularly those in demand by Penn's Center for the Advanced Study of India. And their commitments to students in the Huntsman program continues through their generosity in establishing the Singh Family Endowed Scholarship Fund. Let me close by reading from Rohit's citation. Anyone who believes the adage, youth is wasted on the young, surely is unaware of the energy and enthusiasm and experience you offered to Penn in such a short time, for making Penn's priorities your own, and in anticipation of your bright future as a leader, Penn Alumni is delighted to award you the Young Alumni Award for 2017.
Thank you, Carton, for those generous comments. And thank you for your 43 years of service to Penn. I am grateful for and inspired by your visionary leadership of the Penn Libraries. President Gutmann, distinguished trustees, faculty and staff, alumni and students, friends of Penn, and fellow recipients, I am humbled by this honor. Attending and later serving Penn have been personally transformative and enormously rewarding. Tonight, I would like to thank those who have made my Penn journey so special. This recognition is as much theirs as it is mine. First, thank you to my parents, Dr. Raj and Mrs. Veena Singh, for your love, support, and guidance.
My parents always emphasized the importance of education, and their sacrifices as first-generation Americans allowed me to attend private high school and to graduate from Penn debt-free. And to my father, who is an emeritus professor at The Ohio State University, thank you for allowing this Buckeye to become a Quaker. To my wife, Vandita, in the audience and looking beautiful in Penn blue, and to our young children, Ria, Vedan, and Arjun, thank you for your unconditional love and support. Our house is busy and full of joy and laughter, and Vandita always encourages me to give back to Penn. Second, thank you to the Huntsman Program in International Studies and Business. I appreciate the generosity of the Huntsman family in endowing this program 20 years ago, and I'm so proud to be affiliated with the Huntsman family, whom I regard as role models. I'm grateful, too, to Dr. Jamshed Gandhi, Ginger Mace, and Inga Herman, key Huntsman Program faculty and staff directors, respectively, who have made my Penn experience so special. Finally, thank you to many, many members of the Penn community. That includes my classmates, represented here by my freshman hallmate, Matthew Asada, numerous staff, especially Jean Marie and Kristen and Allison and Matt, and fellow alumni like Jeff Seltzer. Their friendship continued to enrich my Penn experience. Thank you again, and I look forward to serving this great university for many years to come.
And now the Alumni Award of Merit recipients for 2017. Let me first invite Gloria Chisholm and Gil Casillas to the podium.
Gil Casillas, I have enjoyed knowing and admiring you for more than 20 years. When you formalized your activities as a trustee at the University of Pennsylvania, first as a term trustee, then as a charter trustee, and now as a charter trustee emeritus. Your dedication to this university has included service on at least 10 trustee committees, both as member and as chair, on 2 boards of overseers of a school at this university, again, both as member and as a chair. You have contributed enormously to the quality of life on this campus in ways that have helped to make this one of the most admired and prestigious universities in the world. From your days as a law student to being a parent of Marissa College 08, who graced this campus, and now as an exemplary alumni leader, your legacy is extensive. Yet we know that you are not nearly finished yet. For your steadfast dedication to reshaping our campus for the better, Penn Alumni is honored to award you the Alumni Award of Merit for 2017.
You know, it is said that you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them when you look back. And so as I look back, I can see that Penn was destined to be an integral part of my life 43 years ago when I arrived at the law school. I'm grateful for those 3 years, my classmates, of course, and my mentors and professors, one of whom was the late federal judge and Penn trustee, Leon Higginbotham. And I later had the great honor of serving as one of the judge's law clerks, and I shared that experience in those chambers with a fellow clerk by the name of Mike Fitz, who went on to become dean at Penn Law School. I joined a Philadelphia law firm that was founded by Owen J. Roberts, graduate of the law school and Supreme Court justice, and then later dean of the Penn Law School. And at that time, the firm was led by a Penn trustee, the late Bob Tresher. So clearly life as an involved alumnus was an inescapable fact of my life. I want to thank my fellow trustees, those here on the stage, David Cohen and Jim Reapy, Julie Platt, Andrea Mitchell, Egbert Perry. There's a number in the audience who, if I go down the list, I'll run over my time. But most especially, I want to thank Gloria Twine Chisholm, role model, mentor, ever-calming presence, and just an incredible inspiration, not just for me, but so many other trustees, and you know who you are. I want to thank the university staff and the AR staff in particular for helping me do the job that I do in the many activities I've been involved with. At the James Brister Society meeting today, I told the members the following. I said, you are not just part of a great university. You are an important part of why this university is great. And for that, I have to thank our president, Amy Gutmann, whose leadership demonstrates that we can't be a great university without acknowledging and accepting and celebrating the great diversity of this world. I want to thank my daughter, Marissa, class of '08, my son-in-law, George, not just for being here, but for their support over the years. And last, but certainly not least, my wife, Ada, who's had to share me with Penn these past 36 years of our marriage. Thank you very much.
Next, let me invite Lolita Jackson and Kyle Kozlov to the podium.
Hi, everybody. So one of the first times I met Kyle, he was wearing a dress. As a standout member of Mask and Wig, he was often seen in shows around campus where he left a big mark. Kyle also left his mark at Penn in other ways that have lasted through time. For those of you who, like me, are members of Friar Senior Society, Kyle actually invented the Friar Flash his senior year. That is done to this day. And he also received the Student Award of Merit. Kyle has been involved in alumni activities in many ways, but I'd like to focus on one in particular. Since he became president of the class of 1990 after his 10th reunion, he's done everything necessary to galvanize his classmates to volunteer, come back, give back, and enjoy each other. I'd like to share a story that illustrates Kyle's dedication to his class. It's told to me by Tim Hill, who's here. Yell out, Tim. There you go. Who's here this evening. Tim visited Kyle in LA before their 25th reunion a few years ago, and Kyle wanted to get their class's freshman information to digital format. Tim sat in his dining room over the course of 2 days with the phone book from their freshman year. There used to be a phone book back then. Tim began to read the names of their 1990 classmates, and Kyle recorded it. They did that for 7 hours and had only gotten to the letter H. Tim left, and Kyle finished the rest of the names by himself. That's Kyle, silently rolling up his sleeves without complaining, just getting it done. I want to end with how much Kyle means to his Penn family and to me. There's a group of us from various classes, male and female, many of whom are here tonight, who attend each other's reunions. He's been to every one of mine, I've been to every one of his, as well as every homecoming, and have done so consistently since the 1990s. We've been through marriages, births, illnesses, deaths of parents and loved ones, and through it all, our bond gets stronger every single year. Kyle's one of my band of Penn brothers and sisters, and I'm proud and honored to call him my friend. And I know many others here who feel the same. I can honestly say that my experience as a Penn alum for the past 28 years would not have been the same without him, period. Kyle, you're the best, and we love you. Ideally, we'd like to call out our appreciation for everything you do for the red and blue in a style that may be familiar to you, with the microphone in hand as the entire Penn community passes you by during the Alumni Weekend Parade of classes. Instead, we'll do the next best thing by awarding you the Alumni Award of Merit for 2017, which comes with our warmest thanks for your dedicated service to your alma mater and your beloved class of 1990.
Thank you, Lolita. I have to say I feel kind of a special kinship to Candace Bergen tonight, because I was once referred to as Mike Wallace in a dress. It was early, I hadn't quite perfected my mask and wig attire yet. Anyway, I do feel quite unworthy standing up here receiving this award. I'm not going to give it back. That would be foolish, right? But with your permission, I would like to acknowledge a few people with whom I'd like to share this award. So if you will forgive me. First, to my grandfather, Bill, and my great Uncle Henry, who started the Kozlov tradition at Penn in the 30s. To my parents and to my sister, Mom and Dad, thank you so much for your unwavering support. Becky, thank you for making sure that one of us graduated from Penn with honors. To my classmates and adopted classmates, everything that I am at Penn is because of my connection to you. And anything that I've accomplished has only happened because you carry so much of the weight. And then most importantly, to my wife, Emmy, I have no greater fan, supporter, or partner than you. I want to thank you for actually encouraging me to dedicate so much time to this institution. I love you. And then to Penn, my mistress, as my wife said. I am deeply humbled to receive this award. I find that with every ounce of energy I pour into Penn, I'm repaid tenfold. And with each passing year, my bond to the Penn family grows stronger. It is not a sacrifice, but an honor to serve this university. And as such, I do not view this award as a recognition for work completed, but rather as a compact, one that I hope to try to continue to fulfill for the next, let's say, 30 years. Thank you very much.
I would next like to invite Jim Reapy and Egbert Perry to the podium.
I am terrifically honored to be introducing Egbert Perry to all of you tonight. As a former recipient of the award, I can only say that I'm glad I did not have to compete with Egbert and Gil and all the others who are getting these awards, as they have raised the bar for this award substantially. I won't go into Egbert's very successful professional life in real estate, as I hope you've read his bio and the material already, but I would like to spend just a minute on his Penn life, which is why we're here, and it has been a very good life, to say the least. Since obtaining 3 degrees at Penn and marrying a Penn woman, Renee, Egbert has been engaged with Penn at all levels. Among them, engineering overseer, Penn trustee, chair of the Penn Institute for Urban Research, the go-to host for anything Penn in Atlanta, gift chair of his class of '76, and just to keep the Penn-Perry lineage going a little bit further, his daughter Ashley graduated from the college in 2005. I know Egbert best through our more than 20 years of service as trustees, where he has been one of our outstanding trustee leaders. He served on the executive committee, but most important perhaps, he used his real estate expertise to guide our facilities and campus planning committee during a period where we made some of the biggest decisions and some of the biggest improvements on this campus that it has ever seen. And he helped guide our decisions during that period of time when the change and improvements were so critical to the future of Penn. As you can tell from the write-up, Egbert, like a lot of the others up here on this stage, have never turned down a request to help Penn. He has given back so much of his energy and his knowledge and his time to Penn that we could not thank him enough for all of that. And he did this in spite of experiencing some challenges of being a Penn student of color in West Philadelphia in the '70s. Egbert would likely call it an understatement to say that he experienced back then, on occasion, not quite as welcoming an atmosphere as students do today. That experience stayed with Egbert. Fortunately for Penn, he not only overcame those challenges, but he has spent the last 40 years helping to make the university and its neighborhood a much, much better place. He's been a role model for us all in that regard and for those who will follow us. Egbert, you've helped Penn become a better place for all students, regardless of race, gender, or nationality. You've represented Penn in so many positive ways, and at the same time helped make the university's future much brighter. We're proud to call you one of the finest Penn citizens we have. I'm very proud to call you my good friend. So I present you tonight Antigua's and Atlanta's greatest gift to Penn, Egbert Perry.
Good evening. Good evening. Jim, thank you for that overly generous introduction. I really would like to meet the guy that he was describing one of these days. You know, there's another person up here that could have done an introduction because she's sort of like the mother of Egbert and Gil, and that's Gloria. And Gloria, I also want to say thank you for that. And I want to thank all of you for being here tonight, and to all of the other people with whom I share the stage. I really do consider this an honor and a privilege to have been considered for this recognition. And to have actually received it is even more special and implausible. Implausible for the reasons that Jim gave, because the fact is, Penn was sort of a shelter and a refuge for me when interacting with a very hostile Philadelphia Police Department back in the 70s. We used to compare notes on who had been picked up for the most incidents by police and handcuffed and so on. And sometimes in those days, we actually conflated the two institutions, Philadelphia or Philadelphia Police and the University of Pennsylvania. But whenever I looked in the mirror and I was sober and honest about the circumstances, the reality is Penn was, in fact, my retreat, and especially Penn Engineering. So I owe a lot to Penn, an outstanding education, a chance to change and expand my worldview, a wife, a daughter who graduated in the class of '05, another daughter who is a graduate student here at the university. And I want to express my deepest appreciation for all of those colleagues on the board and to the very best university president in the country. Serving on the committee that Jim chaired to recruit Amy to Penn was probably my single greatest contribution to this university. And every president needs a colleague and a partner. And so David, you heard him earlier, the two of them helped to make Penn what Penn is today from a leadership perspective. And I'm also grateful for the subcommittee that put my name forward. Thank you, but you know, for a moment, you went uncharacteristic on me and lost your mind long enough to nominate me. But if that wasn't bad enough, Gil Casillas? Really? I couldn't resist that. So, but I really have witnessed the tremendous leadership from this board and the excellent professionals that help make this place fulfill on its mission every day. And I was fortunate to have been a small part of it. And because of that leadership, it's never surprising that Penn enjoys the coveted place that it does in the world of great research universities. So in some respects, I feel it a little inappropriate to accept this award, because the one thing I can say without reservation is that I have always gotten more from my service to Penn than I gave. And to share the night with me, I did bring with me, or she allowed me to come, my wife of 37 years, who is Wharton 77, Renee. So Renee, thank you. Love you, and I love you, Penn. Thank you very much.
Well, may Agnes Pasquarello and Alice Whittington please come to the podium.
Dr. Gutmann, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, tonight it is my supreme pleasure to honor Alice Waddington, the quintessential alumna of our great university and the president of the class of 1949. Alice's devotion to Penn has never wavered, and this was especially evident at the rousing success of the 65th reunion of the class of 1949. Under Alice's leadership, the reunion team broke all records for class alumni donor participation for all 65th reunions. As a result of their success, the class of 1949 was seriously considered for the Class Award of Merit. Penn made a major impact on Alice's life, not only for the 4 years as an undergraduate, but all for the many, many years that followed. She is present at many, many events at Penn. She's a member of the Penn Fund and our incredible scholarship program. Speaking from experience, being a part of Penn life has enriched our lives in ways beyond measure. Alice, you are a living example of what a lifetime of engagement with your alma mater looks like. At one time you said, the more you give of yourself and time to Penn, the more you will get back. Small wonder you are the quintessential alumni of our great university. With gratitude for your cheerful demeanor, dedicated service, and unfailing Pennergy, Penn Alumni is delighted to have bestowed upon you the Alumni Award of Merit 2017.
May I just say, we're two youngsters, kiddo. Well, I came from a small town, and I went to George School, a Quaker boarding school, and I came to Penn, which was my first exposure to the big city, and it was wonderful. I can't, as Candace did, tell you the names of my professors. I remember some of them. I remember Althea Hoddle, and I remember Dean all of a sudden, Mixner, not Mixner, I did remember him. I know who he was. Well, after leaving Penn, I embarked on life as a wife, mother of 4, co-owner of a business, and active citizen of a small community, which is what you do when you're part of a small community. I certainly broke no scholastic records at Penn, but apparently I did learn how to live a life full of meaning. After my husband died, when I was offered the opportunity to work on the reunion, I decided to do that. I wanted to come and I wanted to enjoy it. I wanted to know people better. And all of a sudden, I was shocked when I was named co-president of the class with George Wills. Well, it's been fun. It's been a wonderful opportunity. I've enjoyed coming to events and meeting wonderful Penn people. I've been delighted to come to the scholarship presentations and see the kids who get those scholarships and visit with them and learn about their hopes. I've had a good time renewing friendships from the class, most particularly Jackie Weitzel, who comes up from Virginia Beach, in fact came from Texas to be here tonight. My kids have really never been on campus, so I'm glad for them to be here tonight. They've come from Massachusetts and Salem, New Jersey, and West Milford, New Jersey. I've loved working with Liz, Lisbeth, and Sandra, and the fabulous alumni staff. They've been great. I just thank you all.
And last but certainly not least, Peter Shoemaker and Sue Wishnow. Please sit at the podium.
Good evening. I met my 1986 classmate and 35-year friend, Sue Dreyer Wishnow, in the first class of the first day of school, freshman year. It was French 101, a required class that met 5 days a week at 8:30 a.m. Now, for us hard-charging recent high school grads, that seemed like a great idea, but not so much when we arrived at school and realized that college hours are a bit different than high school hours. Sue's been co-president of the amazing class of 1986 for over 12 years. She's just starting her third term as our co-president. Under her leadership, our class has set all sorts of participation and fundraising records for reunions. Those records have exponentially reverberating effects on all the Penn classes that follow because they throw down the gauntlet of exceptionalism and show other classes where the high bar actually is and what they have to do to reach it. This is not Sue's first time up here at the podium. Under her co-leadership, our class president, she's been up here to receive the Class Award of Merit for Excellence, not once, but twice. She's also volunteered for Penn in 3 different countries, Great Britain, Canada, and the US, in a variety of roles. I could go on and on about her contributions, but I think her citation says it best. You lead by example in supporting the Penn Fund. Your shining influence raises the bar for excellence and alumni engagement. In gratitude for all you have done for Penn locally, globally, and personally, in anticipation of what you will accomplish next, Penn Alumni is delighted to award you the Alumni Award of Merit for 2017. So a round of applause for a person who bleeds red and blue, Sue Dreyer-Wishnow.
Thank you, Peter. As Peter mentioned, we've known each other for about 35 years or so. So when he called to tell me about this honor, I did not react with any proper politically correct filters. I believe I said something like, "What? Are you sure? You mean that award that I've watched other people, those alumni that are so incredibly committed, those people? They're so impressive." Twice, as you've heard, my co-president David Platt and I have represented our great class of 1986 for the class award, and yes, that's a shameless plug, I see you there. But I've always been in awe of the individual recipients. They have had illustrious careers, are intensely committed to Penn, have changed lives here and in the world, and tonight I'm filled with intense gratitude and perhaps maybe still a little shock that I share this stage with them and want to convey my overwhelming gratitude for this award. To the others on stage tonight, congratulations and thank you for what you do for this place that we all love so dearly. Penn is one of the most loved and special places in my life. Every single time I step onto campus, including this morning, I feel myself breathe in deeply and float down Locust Walk, so comfortable and at home in the warmth that was one of the most influential forces on my younger self and is equally welcoming and relevant in my life today. Of course, I received a world-class education here, but the most intense connection to me is to the people. The friends I made back in the day, some are here tonight, the alumni friends across all classes that I've met by staying as an active alum, and the people who have committed their careers to being part of Penn's incredibly talented alumni relations team. Special shout out to Hoops, Elise, Lisbeth, and Colleen, who over many years of commitment and friendship have led us each to make our classes strong, connected, and proud. Add to all this the joy and pride of being a Penn sister, my brother's here tonight, being a Penn parent of an alum, our son graduated about 1.5 years ago, and to my niece Allie, who is a freshman and here tonight, I could really burst. But the biggest thank you goes to my husband David, who definitely has been to many more Penn events in several countries and cities everywhere we've lived that he could ever imagine when we got married 27 years ago. So thank you very much.
And that brings us to the conclusion of the awards presentation. Thank you and congratulations to all of our honorees and to everyone for coming to this celebration. And now I ask you to please stand and join me in singing the Red and Blue, after which we will go to the Annenberg lobby for dinner and dessert.